Good. Hello. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Culture Coach. Do you know, I've been thinking recently about happiness, and I have something that I call my happiness equation, which is an interesting thought process that I went through, at least my equation for happiness, if you like. And the reason that this came up is a lot of the people that I work with are, well, at least when we start our journey together, massively busy. And they have massively more stress, worry, and problems than your average Joe. And it's not to say that average people don't have lots of stress and worries. It's just that a lot of the times that the concerns of a business owner are not only their own concerns, but all of the people that they work with, all of the people that they employ, they feel responsible for them. At least the good ones do, and I only work with the good ones. And I feel it's kind of a part of my role is their coach and mentor to help them find joy in their business again that they may have lost. It's the joy that I found in my role in what I do. And having said that, this is the summary of the best general advice I've ever been given or found in this area. So I feel it worked for anyone at any level. But I didn't create this. This is just the way that it makes sense to me. So I wanted to share it. So happiness to me is an abstract term. It's a little like beauty being in the eye of the beholder. To me, happiness is in the mind of the believer. I believe I am happy, therefore I am. It's not a real thing. You can't seek happiness. Joy I can feel. Gratitude I can feel. Progress I can see. And those for me are the three things that equal happiness. When I find joy, I'm happy. When I feel gratitude, I'm happy. When I can see progress in whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve, I feel happy. And okay, so human emotions are massively complex, and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a scientist. Having said that, the best information out there would suggest that they can generally be distilled down into five basic categories, and that's joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. Each of these emotions can be experienced at varying intensities from low to very high levels. For example, low level anger may be irritation, and rage would be a high level anger. We may have, I don't know, thousands and thousands of words to describe the different levels of feelings within each of these five areas. They are still linked to one of these five areas. Understanding these emotions, their ranges, and the role they play in our happiness, it is very helpful. It was very helpful to me in fostering a well-balanced and fulfilling life. It's, I suppose, worth noting that all emotions are helpful. There's no such thing as a bad emotion. They're helpful in the right context. They play a part in creating a well-balanced human being. Without fear, for example, you would be dead very quickly. It's very unlikely that you'd make it out of the house before you died. And without the ability to feel sadness, there would be no love or indeed joy. You need to be able to balance the two up. So each has its part to play if you're going to have any kind of, in inverted commas, happiness in your life. Despite whether you perceive them to be positive or negative, and it is all about perception. At the same time, I suppose it's also worth bringing up that 4 out of the 5 of those would commonly be held as a negative emotion, which might go some way to explain why being happy is just so damned hard. There are some, I suppose, very good evolutionary reasons for this. Optimism is not really a good longevity trait in evolutionary terms. Positivity is, over optimism isn't. There's a guy called James Smith. He's an English fitness coach living in Australia, and he has a great take on this. He's got loads of videos on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, etc. But he's got a great take on this. He said that the tendency to see a negative outcome was a survival trait. So I'll give you an example. All the optimists are dead. So it's the optimists who say it's fine, we can swim across that channel out of the gene pool. It's the optimists who say, fine, it's fine, that neighbouring tribe looks really, really friendly, they're out of the gene pool. It's the optimists who say, that bear looks cuddly, they're out of the gene pool. Today, though, for most of us, in the developed world at the very least, it's not quite so dangerous anymore. And in evolutionary terms, we came out of the trees yesterday. In terms of evolution, we're a very new species. But it's not, we've grown and developed so fast that it's not really very dangerous out there anymore. And that means it's arguable that we should feel less fear, maybe experience less sadness, be angry less often, and probably be disgusted by fewer things. And we should be happier as life is easier. And life is easier than it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago. That is a fact. And yet we all know that it's not true. If anything, people are becoming less happy, less content. So for me, the happiness equation is best described as happiness occurs for me when joy is greater than sadness plus fear plus anger plus disgust. So you can put that into an equation. Basically, happiness is joy divided by sadness plus fear plus anger plus disgust. Most things in life. The level of awareness and understanding we have on a subject, I suppose, is crucial to our ability to be able to control ourselves and change what we need to change to get the outcome we seek. So that being the case, the first thing that you've got to do is accept that we don't really experience reality. None of us live in reality. I know that sounds a little bit like I'm calling us all insane. I'm not. I'm just saying we experience how we feel about what happened rather than what actually happened. So we experience our feelings about how we felt about what happened rather than the thing that actually happened. And we feel a way about something because of the meaning that we attach to it. So, for example, we're not really sad that someone is gone. We're sad because we didn't want them to go, or because we didn't think they should have to. And this is all very natural. We can, when we understand our perceptions of this, leading to those emotions, decide to change the way that we look at those emotions. Another example, two people going on a roller coaster ride. One of them is very scared of roller coasters, and one of them absolutely loves roller coasters. They're going to have exactly the same thing happen to them, and yet they are going to experience it completely differently. So how they perceive what's happening to them, how they feel about what's happening to them, describes what they experience in terms of their own personal reality. So one of the ways that I deal with this is to ask myself questions that I kind of have to answer. That helps you look at your perceptions. So let me give you some examples. So sadness, right? So sadness is a very natural emotional response to loss, disappointment, or to any situation where you feel let down. And it can range from, mild melancholy to profound grief. So a question that I ask myself, okay, what is the real reason I am sad? And you can at least understand yourself. I'm not saying it makes you feel any less sad, but at least you understand why you're really sad, rather than just being sad. Fear as well. I mean, fear is an instinctual response to perceived, and there's a word, perceived threats or danger. It ranges from mild unease to intense terror. But ask yourself the question, what am I actually afraid of? Is it real? Is it something that's even likely to happen? That happens a lot more often than you would think. Anxiety is a fear of something that's undescribed. We're just fearful. And it's the same thing with worry. We worry about something that hasn't happened yet. Nobody worries about things that have already happened. We might worry about the outcome of that, but we don't worry about the thing that's already happened. So we worry about what might happen. Anger arises from usually perceived injustices, frustrations, or threats. And again, it can vary from mild irritation to rage. Make yourself ask the question: if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling irritated, why am I irritated? Why am I frustrated? What is it that's making me feel this way? What is my perceived expectation of how the world should be that I'm not getting? Disgust. So disgust includes things like feeling guilty. So some people say that the feeling is guilty, but actually I think guilty is disgust at yourself usually. So it's a strong aversion to something that you find offensive. You find it offensive, revolting, unpleasant, whatever words you want to use. And again, it ranges from mild dislike of something to severe repulsion, where you are repulsed by something. And again, what is the reason you're feeling this way? What is the reason you don't like whatever it is? What is the perception that you have of this that you can decide to change if you so wish? And look, I know none of those questions, none of that will change anything immediately. If you're feeling sad and you ask yourself the question, you won't suddenly stop feeling sad, but you will be able to deal with it in a more effective way. And usually the trick to this is it creates curiosity. And your curiosity changes how you view things. And in turn, that helps you put those emotions into perspective. So remembering that when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. What about the other side of the equation? What about joy? How do we focus on joy and develop that side of the equation? Well, again, I suppose joy is a multifaceted emotion composed of loads of different things that contribute to its overall experience. And these elements work together to create a sense of happiness. Understanding what joy is made up of can help you cultivate that emotion, and it allows you to balance up your life. If happiness, well, for me, because happiness for me is when joy is greater than the other four emotions. In order to be happy, I simply have to focus on what do I find joy in. And there's another word I just want to bring in there. What do I enjoy? So how do I, if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, how do I find a way to enjoy that? How do I find joy within that? Finding joy is not as difficult as you think. I'm looking out of a window right now and I can see some trees. They're green and they're just moving gently in the breeze. That brings me joy. It brings me joy just to look at things like that. A good sunset brings me joy. Take the time to stop and look at things that you like. I'm not saying you should like a good sunset. I mean, I'd be surprised if most people don't. But that's not the point. I just want to bring in, I mentioned earlier on the difference between optimism and positivity. Being optimistic with no backup is not really a very good way to become happy, and I'll tell you why. During the and I can't remember who this was. There was a prisoner during the Vietnam War, an American service person, and I genuinely can't remember their name or much about the story other than they were very inquisitive, and what they found was the optimists were the ones who died first. The optimists died first, and they died because they gave up. And the reason they gave up is they thought they'd be out by Easter. Then they thought they'd be out by summer. Then they thought they'd be out by Christmas. Then they thought they would be out by Easter. And you can only keep thinking that for so long before you start to give up hope. Whereas the people who kept a positive mental attitude knew that they'd get out at some point, or believed that they would get out at some point. They hoped that they would get out at some point. So the positive affect of something refers to the presence of your positive emotions and feelings. And this includes feelings of pleasure and elation and contentment. And this is part of what makes up joy. When individuals experience joy, they often feel a surge of a positive energy that lifts their mood and enhances their overall outlook on life. And that's where you get things back into balance. Another really good way is gratitude. Gratitude's an interesting one because gratitude is a choice. It's the appreciation for what you have, yes, and the recognition of the good in your life. But being grateful is a choice. I'm going to use the trees again. I am grateful the trees are green. I am grateful I live in a country where I get to see green trees. I'm grateful I live in a country where I can look out of a window and see trees. I can be grateful about anything. Being grateful for what you have, no matter how little that might be, can significantly and does significantly enhance your feelings of joy. And by shifting your focus from what's lacking to what you do have, the appreciation can be directed towards other people's experiences and even simple pleasures like the sunshine on your face. And if you want 150,000 people did not wake up today. 150,000 people died today in the world. It might even be higher than that now. That's a fairly old number. You were not one of them. Be grateful. Be grateful for what you do have. Being engaged in something can also bring you joy. I know, fully absorbed, something that you really find either meaningful or enjoyable, or maybe meaningful and enjoyable. It's often referred to as being in the flow. This is when you don't notice the time. Time flies when you're having fun. Those kind of statements, okay? When you're deeply involved in what you're doing and you lose track of time, you can experience intense concentration and satisfaction without really having to try hard. And this is why people say do what you love. And actually, this becomes a choice. Find a way to love what you do. That helps. Another way that you can help with joy is connection. We are human beings. We are born and we live and we die, and we need to be connected to people the entire time. Nobody goes through life on their own. No one. It is a basic human need. Meaningful relationships. I'm not talking necessarily about being in a relationship. I mean having meaningful relationships with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues. Social interactions. Humans inherently are social beings. And having strong positive connection with others does greatly enhance the feelings of joy. Relationships, family, friends, community, those kinds of things. Another thing that really does, I mentioned progress earlier on. Progress is something I can see. Well, achievement is the essential accomplishment and success that comes from reaching a personal or maybe professional goal. It's not really the reaching of that goal, though. What I want to point out, progress is the pursuit and the attainment of something that's meaningful to you, a goal, an objective, a vision that's meaningful to you. That can bring a deep sense of satisfaction and joy. And it's in the pursuit of. There's a great movie with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness. Wasn't quite, but hey, that's the point, right? The pursuit of happiness can be the pursuit of progress, of becoming better, of learning, of developing. That's why it's on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Also, a purpose can bring us joy. Purpose can help us deliver joy. It's a sense of direction and meaning in life. It's knowing that the actions that you're taking contribute to something greater than yourself. And that can be a powerful creator of joy. A sense of purpose can come from various sources. It could be work, it can be volunteering, it can be personal, it can be family, it can be community, it can be anything. It's something that drives you. Now, the positive outlook on life, the realistic optimism, I suppose, can help you in that. The issue around, or one of the other things around that can help you, it gets the word gets thrown around a lot. The statement gets thrown around a lot. Mindfulness. Right, a lot of the time, people don't really explain what it is. Mindfulness is not about meditation. Meditation is meditation. Although mindfulness, you may get mindfulness through meditation. Mindfulness is just the practice of being present in the current moment. Pay attention to the here and now. Even when things go, I'll give you an example. If you're worrying about something that might happen in the future, you are not in the here and now, because it is not happening here and now. If it was happening here and now, you'd be taking action. Be in the here and now. You can savor experiences, reduce stress. The one that gets me, you go to a concert. I was watching something on the TV the other day, and it was a concert. Can't remember who it was playing. It might have been Taylor Swift. There's a lot of that going around at the moment. And there's thousands of people in the audience, most of which are watching the show through their phones. You're there. Live in the moment. And here's the thing, your little phone, I'm watching it on the TV in HD with HD sound, and you're recording it on your phone. Why? I don't know. Live in the moment. Stop living in the future or the past or trying to share stuff. Live in the moment. It brings a sense of joy. This current moment is the only moment that you have. Remember that. Another thing that's really important, and this is really important, I know lots of people say, I'm not a fitness coach, I don't do that, but physical well-being is really important. Maintaining good health through proper nutrition. I'm not talking about always eating healthily. I am not an advocate of that at all. But proper nutrition, so about eating well. Regular exercise, and if you're not doing regular exercise, find something that you can do. Go for a walk, do something. Get sufficient rest. A human being needs between 7 and 9 hours sleep roughly a night, so 8 is the average. If you're not getting 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, get some more sleep. Go to bed earlier. Because your physical health can significantly, and I mean significantly, impact your emotional well-being. And taking care of your body is like the foundations for being able to experience joy. And that is the only thing that you can do to become happier or happy. Cultivating joy is an act, okay? If you focus on the components we've just mentioned in your life, you can tip the balance towards joy, which means that when joy is exceeding the other emotions, you're likely to feel happier. So practice gratitude. If you want, keep a gratitude journal. Regularly note things down that you're thankful for. Say thank you for 3 things daily. Find 3 things that you are thankful for in your life. Even if it's, I woke up and I've got a bed to sleep in, or I woke up and I had a roof over my head. Be grateful. Find a way to engage in things that are meaningful for you. I don't mean meaningful for me or anybody else. Meaningful for you. Hobbies, activities that you're passionate about. And make time for them. You only get one life. This is not a practice run. Nurture the relationships that you have in life. Spend quality time with the people that you like. And build strong connections with those people. Set and achieve goals, objectives, have a purpose in life. Set goals, find things that you want to do that you can move towards, and then celebrate your achievements on the way, and find a purpose in your life. Reflect on what it is that gives your life meaning, and then pursue that actively. What is it that's important to you? And then there's that point of being hopeful. Hopeful you could equal being realistically optimistic is hopeful. Rather than just over-optimism, hope is realistically optimistic. Focus on the positive aspects in your life and maintain that hopeful outlook. Be mindful. Live in the present moment. It doesn't matter whether this is meditation or taking time to be fully present in your activities. Go for a walk in nature and just look. Just look and enjoy. And to take care of your body. You've only got one. It's got to last you a lifetime. Make sure you put some priority on your physical health through diet, exercise, and for crying out loud, people, get some rest. Kind of as we come to a close on this, I want you to just look after yourself. Take time to savour the moment you're in and smell the roses. Not every minute of every day, just take some time every day. Find things that you love to do and make time for them. And understand that all of us have all of these emotions for a reason. And accept that we can, if we wish, if we want, and we decide, and we choose to, we can feel the ones we want the most often. To sum that up, seek joy every day in some way. Thanks. I've been Andy Water. This has been The Culture Coach, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you keep yourself happy and how you find joy. Thank you very much. We'll speak soon.